Hollow Knight has a grand total of 44 bosses in Godhome, which is more bosses than some games even have enemies. And honestly, a lot of them are super satisfying to fight. Grim is flashy, Traitor Lord is brutal, Sisters of Battle feels like a dance-off. So yeah, picking the best boss is tough. But one day I asked myself a slightly different question. Best or not aside, which boss is actually the most fun? Spoiler alert, it's the Collector. Now, don't get me wrong, this is 100% my personal opinion, since I judge bosses based on how much they challenge me. That's why I'm also one of the 5 people on Earth who actually enjoys Radiant Markov. Like, seriously. Of course, that doesn't mean I don't appreciate other bosses, tons of them are designed way better, but here's the thing, once you've fought them enough times, they stop being hard. And when there's no challenge, there's no dopamine. And without dopamine, what's the point to play anymore? And that's exactly why I think the Collector is secretly the most fun boss ever made. Not because it's hard, but because you can make it hard. Phrasing could have been better there. So let's talk about how this weird, joyful god of protection actually became my favorite fight in the game. A Hallownest, you can find this boss in the Tower of Love, near King's Station and Kingdom's Edge. To even get inside, you need the Love Key, which you usually find in Queen's Gardens. But here's the problem. By the time you reach Queen's Gardens, you've probably already got the Coiled Nail, the second best nail in the entire game. That means every single ad the Collector throws at you, one shot instantly. It's like squishing ants with a rocket launcher. And even if you wait until Godhome to fight the Collector, where it summons stronger enemies, they still get obliterated in one hit if you're using Strength. And the whole fight turns into a pushover again. Sure, it's convenient, it's faster, but like I said earlier, if there's no challenge, there's no fun. So, how do you make this boss fight more fun? The answer is lowering your nail damage. The easiest way, obviously, is just by taking off Strength. Without it, you can just run around slicing everything in your way. Instead, the best way to clear the ads is with Cyclone Slash, since it boosts your damage just enough to one-shot them. It sounds easy, right? In my opinion, it's a little too easy, so let's see what else Team Cherry lets us mess with. If you've been to Godhome, you probably noticed in Pantheons, there is a neat difficulty setting where you can bind your skills to make fights harder. The nail binding in particular does the most to crank up the Collector's difficulty. By taking it a step further and dropping your nail damage down to just 13, the only consistent ways to clear the ads now are Great Slash, Dash Slash, or Spells. Cyclone still works, but the timing gets tricky. If you've ever tried Pantheon 5 with all bindings, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Obviously, the first phase isn't too bad since the boss only spawns one enemy at a time. But after a few more hits, the Collector goes, screw it, I've had enough, and drops a whole army of bugs out of the ceiling. What do you do then? The answer is still pretty simple. Kill one with a Nail Art or Cyclone, then clean up the rest with Shade Soul. If you're lucky, the spell might even hit the boss for some extra damage. Sweet. Basically, you just have to make sure you always have enough soul for a spell, otherwise the ads will corner you and laugh even harder than the Collector itself. Once you practice it a bit, it's not too bad, and no, I definitely didn't make an entire save file with the perfect equipment just to practice P5 All Bindings Collector. Definitely not me. Now onto the final difficulty, and oh boy is it rough. 5 damage nail, plus unupgraded spells. Yep, we are talking about Vengeful Spirit here, the kind that you cast and immediately regret, because it hits about as hard as a normal pure nail swing, even with Shaman Stone. At this point, nothing one-shot the ads, not nail arts, not spells, except maybe a perfectly lined up dive. But who actually knows that every time? To make things worse, or I mean more fun, I decided to play on Radiant, because why not? Now it's pure survival mode. the arena fills with pricks, and I'm over here questioning every life decision that led me to deliberately make things harder for myself. For perspective, I've done P5 all bindings, I've got over 1,000 hours in this game, and Radiant Collector with a 5 damage nail and base spells still absolutely wrecks me. Anyway, here's the past 5 days of my suffering, fun, compressed into about a minute. Cue the montage. In these extreme conditions, here are the charms I chose. Quick Slash to stagger the boss more quickly, Shaman Stone to make the spell slightly less useless, Nail Master's Glory to charge all nail arts faster, Dream Wielder for farming soul during staggers, and finally Spell Twister plus Soul Eater so I don't run out of soul when the Aspid army chases me. For phase 1, my strategy is to kill the first ad with exactly 2 nail arts and 1 normal hit, which keeps me safe while building up soul. After that, I use 1 nail art plus a vengeful spirit to consistently finish ads, then go back to attacking the boss. If the boss staggers, I dash in, dream nail twice, get more soul, rinse and repeat. Sure, not the easiest loop, but let's be real, there aren't that many other options. Phase 2 though is where RNG starts kicking in, and if you are a true Hollow Knight player, you know exactly where this is heading. Which ads spawn and where they spawn is completely random, so unless you get lucky with jar positions and land a perfect dive to clear all 3 at once, you will constantly have at least 2 enemies chasing you while the collector... Oh yeah, the collector! Did I mention it basically does whatever it wants? Sometimes it jumps 3 times in a row then tries to hug you, or maybe not. Sometimes it spawns ads non-stop, or maybe not. Sometimes it spawns aspits that immediately spit in your face the second they land, or maybe not. Like, is this even a Hollow Knight boss anymore? But honestly, that unpredictability is the fun part. The fight is barely possible, and that's what makes it exciting. It's the stubborn determination that keeps Hollow Knight players going, and eventually, on one random Friday afternoon, I finally got this run. Enjoy. That pretty much wraps up the video. I think the Collector is the most fun boss to fight in Hollow Knight, not because it's hard, not because it's epic, but because it's one of the few fights where I actually get to manufacture difficulty just by lowering my own damage. It takes a fight that's usually over in 30 seconds and turns it into this insane bug-filled obstacle course where you get to use every single skill in your arsenal. Cyclone for soul, grid slash and dash slash for initial damage on the ads, VS and diving for clearing enemies, Wraith for damaging the boss, and even Dream Nail for soul management. Everything just clicks perfectly together to make up this incredible challenge that even after 1,000 hours it still feels fresh. It still feels challenging, and most importantly, all of the factors above collectively still makes me laugh.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So next time you are bored of Hollow Knight bosses, give the Collector a try with Terrible Nail. I guarantee you will either have the most fun you've had in ages, or you will at least appreciate how consistent Markarth actually is. Anyway, I'm curious, what boss is still fun for you, even after hundreds of hours? Let me know in the comments, because I'm probably going to lower my nail damage and try it myself. Or you can check out my P5 All Bindings run here. I promise you it is impressive, so quick, click it before it disappears.